Selamat datang di Indonesia. Okay, it's my first stop on a tour in Indonesia, starting in the notorious Banda Aceh. Most of you will recognize the name as being the location of the location that was worst affected by the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. It was a massive natural disaster in which thousands of people lost their lives, countless more were displaced, entire communities obliterated, even the coastline was permanently altered. I hope to find out a little bit about how life is here now. It's also, you may have heard of it over the years for being subject to numerous separatist insurgencies, and it's actually since, in the aftermath of the tsunami, actually been declared a Sharia law zone. So lots of interesting stuff to find out about Banda Aceh, and I hope that in watching this video you might learn something about this kind of culture, and perhaps it's going to surprise you in some ways. In addition to that, of course, I'm going to be showing you some of the most delicious food known to man, and hopefully a few sights that will warm your heart or maybe even bring a tear to your eye. It is a beautiful day in Banda Aceh, and I feel glad to be back in my favourite country. Honestly, just such a nice vibe here. Roaming around, we've got delicious food all over the shop. Just decrepit buildings are just so full of character, and people so full of character as well. It really is the best thing about this country, it's the people. As soon as I got off, I mean, it helps when you speak a bit of the language, and I do in this country, and you just get along with people so easily, and they're so pleased to see you, and they're genuinely pleased to see you. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's loads of like money motivation, same like anywhere in the developing world, and some places in this country is pretty bad, but in a place like this, most people just happy to see you. They just think it's funny. Such kind people, warm-hearted. No, thank you, bro. And you can just see it in their eyes, man. You can see it, the way they look at you, the way they talk to you. Anyway, this is like a market area, and I think you can tell the difference, can't you, between here and Thailand. As like I say, for me, Thailand's pretty much a developed country. This one certainly is developing. Well, it's developed up to this point, and they're kind of happy with that, aren't they? And they ain't got much choice in this area, because obviously this has all been they've had to start again from scratch around here. I mean, it's fucking filthy, you can see that. Streets are filthy. Whether or not that's got something to do with the old fallout from the tsunami, I don't know, but Jakarta's pretty much like this. Mind you, that gets flooded out every year as well. Let's have a little look inside here, eh? Pasar Ikan. This fish market. In the fish market, you can smell it as well. Oh, I'm going to get fucked in here because my shoes are fucked. I'm going to be slipping all over the place. I've had these sandals for like 8 years now, and oh yeah. Oh, nice bit of sashimi on the go there. Got fish innards, fish tails. Oh, they look like beauties, don't they? Oh, some lovely fresh fish there. Fresh as anything. And the vegetables, you wouldn't believe the price of vegetables in this country, honestly. You spend nothing. The real magic happens when they cook it though, when the spices go in and it goes on the fire. Oh, that is something else, I tell you. Now I'm thinking about investing something in this actually. Yeah, I might come back here for one of these. I'm a bit concerned about going into the jungle, you know. I think I better be armed for that mission. Not only to cut the shrubbery out of the way, but also to protect myself from the various beasts that I might encounter. So we've got a shipyard here. Presumably these are fishing boats. You can see quite a few of them are pretty much in a state of disrepair. Some of them are being repaired as we speak, but I wonder how many of these were destroyed during the tsunami. How many livelihoods were wiped out. This is something you're going to see very often in Sumatra, and you know, this is going back to the dark side really, because I'm sure most of us would agree it's not really right, is it? You see that? It's a pet monkey chained up. I've not seen one like this before. His face looks almost human. Well, his action, everything like that, very expressive, you know. I don't think he's expressing happiness, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, what can you do, eh? I mean, what? You keep your pet chained up? I suppose people chain their dogs to things, don't they, if they don't want them to get away? I mean, they don't exactly leave them there all day, but I don't know. It is not my culture to question, really. You know, I was speaking to a Filipina girl the other day about cockfighting, you know, and eating dogs. She was really like, obviously quite, you know, from a wealthy family or something. Really perfect English. I mean, Philippines, they use English as a first language, but they don't speak it perfectly, you know. But she was perfect, you know. She was light-skinned. She looked Chinese to me, but she insisted there was no Chinese heritage in her family, to her knowledge. But you know, she had a couple of little bits and pieces on. I could tell she came from money, you know. She was travelling. She's the first Filipina I've met that you know, was travelling for leisure, not economic reasons. And anyway, she loved dog. She loved to eat dog. You know, that's just what they do where she comes from. But the idea of eating a cat did disgust her. So yeah, and we spoke about cockfighting as well, right? Because cockfighting is like really popular in the Philippines, and it's a cultural thing. You can't, you know, you can't tell them that that's wrong, really. Well, you can, and maybe you should, but you know, there's ways of doing things. So, you know. Anyway, chaining monkeys up, cockfighting, dogfighting. Yeah, she said dogfighting's big in the Philippines. I mean, you know, none of us like it, but that's how they're living out there, you know. And that's one of the points that I hope I'm in some way expressing in these videos. People live differently from where you come from, and that ain't any of your business, and that ain't something you should be frightened of or intimidated by. And obviously that's particularly relevant with the way that people live here. Oh, this is funny. Look, classic Indonesia. Classic Indonesia. Buka 24 jam means open 24 hours. Closed. Tutup. Yeah. Classic Indonesia. Well, again, we can see very little evidence that this area was subject to possibly the largest cataclysmic event in modern history. So certainly some kind of testament to the will of mankind, isn't it?